Hello, Aries. How's everybody doing today? I hope that you're well. Much love and light from Apollo and I. And we're really looking forward to looking at what the new year is going to be bringing in for us, because we're going to be looking a month ahead. As with all the live readings, however, we're going to begin with some channeled messages that are grounded in the here and the now. And we'll also have a chance to look at some past and recent past energies that will help pull us through to the new year as well. So I'd like to introduce myself. If you're brand new, my name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. And we'll be looking at the sign of Aries. This can be used for the sun, the rising and the moon sign. And also, if you're pretty well versed with astrology, you can look at other aspects of your chart as well, other placements, I should say. You're welcome to cross-watch, and you can also look on behalf of somebody in your life if you'd like to. What we're going to do today, as always, is look at a few different areas of your life. I'm going to put down the dog here so that we can chat. And I begin with channeled messages, and I have everything here kind of laid out on the table. And the way that I arrive at the channeled messages, which is really sort of like a psychic download, is I set an intention a couple nights before I get started to receive messages in dreams. I meditate before I get started here. And as I select the deck of cards, I start to get some clear images and just basically feedback from my guides. So the first part will be the psychic download that I've created here. And then we'll go into the cards themselves to look at really like a nice detailed roadmap for the month ahead. Then we're going to go a little deeper into the expanded forecast to look at specific areas like health, wealth, love, and destiny. And then after that, we go into something I call soul path, which allows all of us to look a little bit deeper at one or two of the areas that presented themselves today. So for some months, that'll be love, maybe it's career, or maybe it's something deeper in your soul. So however that kind of comes through, we'll focus a little bit deeper there. And that also sets you on a trajectory for like 3 months or 6 months. It's not just the month ahead. And then we'll meditate and we'll pull everything together with a nice little sound bath at the end as I play a singing bowl. So a lot to go through and a lot to experience. I always enjoy these readings because I learn a lot too. So thank you for showing up. Thanks for allowing me to be a guide here for the next hour. And let's see what's coming through. Okay. Before I get started, I'd like to welcome everyone. If you're brand new or if this is your return visit, I appreciate you. Without you, there'd be no reason to show up. So thanks for making time in your schedule and allowing me to chat with you. Thanks to Ryan and Maria. Those are my guides here in real life. They're your moderators. They'll help with any questions that you might have about where to find things, what we're talking about, etc. So much gratitude to both of them. And one last thing, which is if you would like to show support while I'm doing the reading, the way that I use Super Chat is basically like that. It's a way to say thanks. It helps me buy new cards. I'm using a ton of new cards today. Too many to count. I have basically everything that I'm using in health, wealth, love, and destiny is new, thanks to you. So all of my Oracle cards, except for the Catalyst, is brand new or are brand new, and that's with your help. So if you like what you see and you want me to continue to refresh all of my supplies, then you can use Super Chat. I don't answer questions as I go along because it takes me out of my intuitive channel and I have to stay focused. So that's the main difference between me and others, but it does help. I do see it and I do read all comments later. So I just want to thank you in advance. All right, let's talk about what came to me as I was meditating this morning, actually, and I've been trying to use visual cues here occasionally. I saw the source, but it came through as like a river source and also the tributaries that kind of run into a river. So let me pull up a picture. So a lot of times rivers, they're not just, it's not just the main artery. They have all these sort of little tributaries that lead into them and kind of form really cool sort of, they almost remind me of a tree sometimes when you look at all of these formations. And basically there's all these little arteries that lead into the main one. And then there's also at the very beginning, sometimes it's a glacial source. Sometimes it's a series of streams or a lake or something, but there's always a source or a headwater for the river. And so what I was seeing in my mind's eye this morning was that headwater, sometimes even at the top of a mountain, and then all the tributaries that were going into the one main artery, like the Nile or the Mississippi, etc. So I meditated on this for a while. I'm like, why am I being shown this sort of river source or headwater? The first thing that came to me was that everything that's big was once small or is constituted by all of these little smaller arteries. So sometimes we look at something big and think it was always that way, or it only exists as that. But in nature, when we're looking at something like the river, or a river, I should say, the truth of the matter is that it is somehow deceiving us, that it's not just that main source. It's actually all these little tiny things feeding into it. So it's a metaphor for like families, for companies, for everything in life. We're kind of all like those tributaries feeding into something. So, I mean, the question for you this month is that big sort of Nile or Mississippi River that you're kind of feeding into in your overall kind of life purpose, is it pulling you forward, or is it just kind of like dragging you down? Where are you going? How much are you investing in that? How does that feel? One thing that I was inspired by was the smallness of the beginnings. So sometimes we look at the mountain, or we look at how much we have to do, and we think, I can't do it because it's going to be too hard. I was thinking of going up to the mountain. What if that's where you find like the source of the river, the source of your inspiration? And that journey, that sort of struggle that you experience is actually to help reveal the source. That's going to help give you that richness, that inspiration, and you might find yourself on that journey. That's why on the Eight of Cups card, we see someone going off along a river towards the mountains. And they're going to return. There's always room. There's that empty space for that extra cup to go, if you're looking at a traditional Rider-Waite-Smith illustration. And that's what I was getting, was like Eight of Cups. So some of you might be on this place where you feel like, I'm ready for something more. I need to find myself. I need to go somewhere else. I need to take a sabbatical. I need to try something new. All of this is coming through as being very, very much valid if that's where you feel that you need to focus. And I think that going back to the source is super important. That's actually what I wrote here. I have a couple thoughts on that, but I want to say, if you're being drowned by a larger energy or being pulled by it, it's time to reclaim it, because you're actually feeding into that source, as we saw with like the tributary image that I showed you. So when you reclaim it, all of a sudden you can start to become that sort of large energy source. So going back to the source, this is a reminder that you are the source of all things in your life. You create that. You're the channel. And so sometimes we give that power to others, or we think that we have to do what they're saying, but you don't. And there's a later part of this that we'll talk about in just a moment. Going back to the source also is literally saying, deal with the person that's in charge, who can create the change. Don't be dealing with the middleman. So if you have to get some sort of an approval in your life or a signature, you should be speaking to the one that can make the decisions. I worked for a VP once that said that that's how she got stuff done. She said, I don't deal with people that can't give me the yes or no. I go to the next person in line. I was like, that's kind of genius. And that message came through today as well, to make sure if the person can't give you the approval, that's the wrong person. So keep working around that. And this month, you're going to play the role of messenger, creator, and agent of change. If you get blocked, sometimes you can't get to that person that's in charge. That's also a divine message saying there's a better way, or you should do this yourself. Entrepreneurial energy came through for sure. And so this is going to be your chance to sort of like take charge, to create. And when I was looking at the energy of a river, I was trying to think, because what I saw in my head was the Empress connected to this, but I thought it's actually a creative and a destructive force. So it has divine masculine and feminine. The feminine aspect is that it can keep all of this life. And it's kind of, this is where we all came from on the planet too. Life started in the oceans and then kind of came to the land. So it's divine feminine, but it also can go through and push through things. So there's divine masculine. So this month, you don't have to pick or choose. You can kind of pull both of the energies of the river into your body. And I did a little research too, and in different languages, in different Latin languages and others, it can be masculine or feminine. So it's interesting that even the way we speak about water, it can be both. And I believe that to be true as well. Basically reclaim your myriad energies that you put out there, all these little tributaries. This is your chance to reclaim them and move them in a better direction. Let's move on to the next piece. So going from this beautiful nature-based message about rivers and movement and source to something that I don't really deal with. And so this must be very specific for some of you. I saw a house of cards, and we use that metaphor a lot, but I thought, you know what? I had to Google it to just sort of see what it looks like. And for those of you that play cards or do tricks with cards, it's basically if you stack things really gently to create something like that. Sometimes it's a triangle, sometimes it's more elaborate. The whole idea with this is that it's fragile, right? It looks like if you sneeze, if you move, if you tap it, that whole thing is going to fall apart. So some of you might be witness to, maybe there's some sort of a project that you're working on, or there might be a company that you're working for, or maybe you're part of a group, a friends group, and it just feels like there's a very tentative, very sort of delicate balance to that. I think it's time to reevaluate why, and also maybe how much you're investing in this group or in this balance. Are you the person at the bottom that's trying to constantly keep all those cards from falling? If you are, and I think we've all played that role from time to time, let the cards fall however they need to. This is your time to reclaim your balance and your energy and your proper place, and just see what happens when when you kind of let go a little bit. For some of you that are doing way too much, maybe it's at a job, this is going to illustrate just how much you've been doing. When you say no, or if you take a day off or something and the whole thing collapses, they'll be on the phone saying, we need you here. And then eventually you need to kind of have a conversation saying, okay, but I also need a break. And I can't keep this delicate balance together. We need to have additional people sort of doing their part. So sometimes when you let go, it shows how strong you were. And sometimes we're so afraid of what will happen if we say no, if things fall apart. Sometimes when it falls apart, that's the only time that you can see the structure or the organization to it. And that's what I wrote here too. Then you're going to see how weak it was, or how strong you were, or what you need to focus on. The other thing here is that it might allow you to receive the support and the recognition that you deserve, kind of like the Three of Pentacles. So people are going to look at it and reevaluate it. Sometimes everyone gets busy, or they take for granted the fact that you've been doing this for so long. So sometimes this is just symbolic of a relationship, right? Where you are the one that is making the phone calls, running the errands, doing the doctor's appointments, all the stuff that matters, and the other person's just kind of phoning it in. So if that's happening, this is a time to really say, we both need to be here. This is too delicate of a balance. Hopefully that makes sense. Don't underestimate yourself, and don't be afraid to push back or say no or let things fall apart. And then tell the person, yeah, that was your responsibility. I can't keep doing that. So sometimes they have to see that in order to understand it. Okay. I think I spelled the name wrong, but I want to talk about, I'm not sure if it's with a C or a K, but I was thinking then in my head about The Hunger Games, which is a great series of books and movies that was out a few years back. The message that came to me intuitively was, stop playing games. And I thought about something that I could kind of connect with that. And it reminded me of Katniss in the Hunger Games, where there was this sort of hierarchical structure, kind of like the Hierophant energy, right? That was pushing her to do something she didn't want to do. And then all of a sudden, and repeatedly, she kept throwing curveballs and would do what was unexpected, saying no, kind of turning the system on itself and saying, I'm not playing the game. I'm actually the game maker here. I'm the one that's going to make the rules, or just stop playing. And I don't want to say any spoilers, but I will say that what she discovered was sometimes there doesn't have to be a winner or loser. Sometimes you can both win. Sometimes the system's so broken that it has to fall apart, something that we were seeing in the House of Cards. And sometimes what you need to do is not necessarily be a martyr or a symbol. You have to live your life. So that's kind of what I liked about that. It was, it's an interesting series of books and movies if you've never seen it, but change the system. That's the first message. You don't have to play games. You can rewrite the rule book. A lot of these are old rules that we didn't write, and we're inheriting from our parents and our parents' parents. So we don't need to do that. And what if we could stop thinking about winning and losing, and we could all benefit? That's something as a society that we're not doing a great job at now. And I think we all have to start taking leadership on that and thinking like, no, we're all in this together. We should all be benefiting. And if I succeed, that doesn't mean that you lose. That means that we're all growing. And maybe I'm just at this point a little earlier than you, but I don't have to succeed at the cost of you, and you don't have to succeed at the cost of me. And if we both do well, that's great. So let's really focus on mutual growth. And if you're being pushed by someone, this could be a friend even that's trying to get you to do something that you don't want to do. In the Hunger Games, Katniss just sort of woke up and said, I can't do it. Just can't do it. I'm not going to do it. So we find that sort of fire in our belly and think, this is my time to take a stand. So as we're looking at the month of January, maybe even for some of you as you're watching the live, you know what I'm talking about. You know there's some things in your life where it just doesn't work. You can't phone it in anymore. You can't play the game anymore. And you'll be okay. You'll be okay in the long run. But it is difficult to be the one that kind of steps up and says, no, I'm not going to do it. All right. The last piece that came through was really about clearing and cleansing. And I think this is so that the flow of energy that I identified with the first sort of series of images that came through at the river, so that it doesn't get blocked. And as I was tuning into your energy today, it felt like there was some blocks nutritionally and also just sort of cognitively. So I think that what would help, obviously, whenever you change diet or nutrition, you need to work with the doctor on that. Don't do anything radical. But I think it's time to cleanse, with food, less processed. I think that's a pretty safe thing to say, even if you were talking to a doctor. Less fast food, less processed, more pure, healthier overall, less sugars, etc. And what this is going to do is help the energy move through your body, because your digestion is going to be working a little bit better. And blood and water and food and all these products that go through our bodies, the clearer and the cleaner that channel is, the clearer your energetic channel is going to be. So it's really important to put good things into your body so that the energy can also flow clearly. And then I want you to clear your mind as well with meditation, and also focusing on what you're consuming in media as well. So what are you watching on TV? What are you listening to music-wise? What are you reading? And if a lot of this stuff is heavy or angry or just of a, sort of, even the fast food equivalent to that, then you want to kind of let that go and clear it out as well. Okay. So let's go ahead now and move along to the cards and get some additional clarity. And don't worry, I will at the midpoint pull up all the cards so that you can read these messages again. But a quick review right now is you are the source. There's a lot of energy that wants to come through. Reclamation and direction of the energy is key. The other thing is if you are holding something together, or, it's almost like if you take your finger out of the dam and the whole thing comes through, you've got to let go. You can't do this anymore. You've got other things you got to focus on. So whether it's the house of cards or that little plugging of the dam, it's time to let things go. And then you can rewrite the system, and you need to clear out your mind and body so that all the changes that want to come through can come through. So I'm going to stack all these up in order so that I can go through them again at the midpoint after we've seen the cards. And a lot of times there's some correlation between what I said here and what the cards show. So at this point, I like to remain quiet and just focus on shuffling and seeing what's being presented, but I'll walk through everything in just a moment. So one more time, welcome everybody, and let's see what we're going to look at for the month of January. There was one other message that came through that I just ran out of cards and time to write, and that was to put yourself in somebody else's shoes. And I also saw sort of like this flipping of roles. And as I look at the Lover's card, this reminds me of the soulmate energy that might be coming through, and we'll talk about that in a second. Oh. Meditation came through. All right. So let me take a quick drink here, and then we're going to talk about everything that I just pulled here. All right. So I've been using a Ganesha deck, or I'm going to be using a Ganesha deck this month. I used it for the collective that I just did, and I wanted to keep it up because I love the energy here. So joy is a fantastic way to open things up. So we're talking about removing blocks, and Ganesha is really good at that. And so often in our life, we kind of don't embrace the energy of like the Fool, the Six of Cups, and even like the World card, like just letting go and moving on. And it's important to have fun. So when was the last time that you did something just because it felt good or you wanted to? Also, are you taking and deriving joy from that which you kind of focus on every day? So whether it's your job, or whether it is your what you're studying at school, or if you're retired, how you're spending your time, are you happy? If you're not happy, Ganesha is saying, be happy. Find ways to be happy. As you are happy, you also bring in better people in your life because they're going to resonate with that high frequency and they'll be in the same joyful energy. You're going to do things quicker because it's fun and it doesn't feel like work and it doesn't feel like climbing that mountain. And and by the way, can you see the mountains behind? I'll pull it really close. You can see the mountains already behind Ganesha. It walked through it. It's past that. So this is a reminder that having fun and having friends to help you is a key piece of this as well. So spend time doing things that you love with other people, even if it's virtually right now, because I know it's difficult with social distancing, but this is a really important piece of success and happiness. Obviously, joy is happiness, but you have to try to kind of use it as a tool as well. And if you see it as something that's necessary, like sleep, then all of a sudden you don't feel guilty for having fun or having joy in your life. Okay. It's important because, as I said, I love that this deck shows cups as mirrors. So you are going to bring your perfect mirror in if you do this. And if you're focusing on being independent, fulfilled, happy, strong, your friendships, your business partnerships, and your love connections are all going to be stronger for that because they are a mirror of you, what you are, what you need to see. And if what you need to see is that you're doing a good job, then you're going to be bringing in mirrors of that successful energy. The flip side of this, it's already upright, so it's a really positive message, is that if there's something in your life, and specifically someone in your life, that is giving you kind of grief and you don't like them, instead of getting angry at them, think about what it was that you did or that you might be doing that has somehow welcomed or beckoned that energy into your life. Because ultimately, on a cosmic level, they're coming in to teach and elevate you a little bit and bring you hopefully into a better place. But sometimes it doesn't always feel like that. So your relationships are your mirrors. Celebrate the good ones and fix the sort of aspects of your own personality that are calling in the lower frequency relationships. Overall, it's a good time for love. Center card, very good for attracting new opportunities, new people, and also for going deeper within existing relationships. So I love the Two of Cups. We have Eight of Pentacles right on top of it. Some of you may meet someone that you really connect with because you're doing what you love. So Eight of Pentacles is showing a return on investment as well. So if you want to spend more time and energy kind of like fixing a relationship or growing it, that's also good. Work your passion. That's the other way that you can kind of connect these two cards. And I've known a few people in my life that are lucky enough to do that. Whether you love sports and you end up playing sports for a career, or if you're an artist and then you find a way to make a living at that, those are examples. But I want you to try to work your passion or find something that drives you And I think this month it's about knowledge expansion as well. So it doesn't have to be like going back to school. It could just be learning some sort of a trade for your own happiness. Maybe you want, or like a skill. Maybe you want to learn how to knit or read cards or practice Reiki or whatever it is. There's any number of things that you could do, but do it for you and do it because, why, Ganesha? Because it makes you happy. So find your joy and work that into your life. And if you can find a way to also make a living at that, you're doubly blessed here. We have the Star card in the Deep Past. Usually one of my favorite cards, as you know. This card is wonderfully illustrated here. I love that we see horses, unicorns, whatever, showing all the individual energies that you bring. But when a Star card is reversed, the one thing that I will say with that is that there's sometimes this desire to either change yourself for the general acceptance of others so that they can see you and be happy about who you are, or to try to change into something that you're not. The Star card is one of the biggest examples of that. You are exactly what you need to be. So I just don't want you to mute your light. And I'm encouraging you to be bolder and be more experimental with what it is that you might be sort of doing in your life to sort of be more authentic. So it could be a change in career. It could be loving someone that's not accepted by your family. It could be just having different views, even like talking about spirituality or whatever it is. Something about you seems to be a little bit different, and that's okay. And that's what actually makes you singular and attractive to the masses. So focus on that kind of energy, and I think you're going to be in a good place. Okay, we have the 5 of Cups here in the recent past here. By the way, the other thing with this is 2 more things. There could be someone in your life that has a hard time dealing with the fact that you're being successful, which is something that I talked about earlier. I always think there are room for 2 stars or 3. There are double and triple star systems out there in the galaxy. So I like to remind people that there doesn't have to be competition. 2 people can shine and shine in different ways. And that's important. So don't worry about diminishing your shine so that other people can shine. You're fine. So it's really about flipping that and being honest and transparent and sharing it with joy, with passion, and without apology. All right. We have the 5 of Cups card here reversed. This is a very peaceful 5 of Cups, which I like. And we actually see this person kind of bringing balance between the heart space and the crown chakra, using even the lotus petal here in the palm of their hands, which we would normally kind of associate with the crown. So for some of you, as we're looking at this, this would be like heart, throat, third eye, crown. This is where a lot of the work can be done in clearing things out. I was talking about chakras that could use a little bit of clearing and meditation. So the fact that this was reversed could mean that some of you maybe have overdeveloped this and underdeveloped the lower ones, or you're not putting enough time in just sort of allowing yourself to dream or to pull the heart energy up there. Are you happy? Are you doing what you want to do? Do you love yourself? This last thing is so important. If you can't love who you are, then other people will not be able to unconditionally give you the love that you're seeking. They instead will be focusing on teaching you the lessons of why you are lovable. But that's going to be sometimes in the way of, they're going to show you your insecurities. They're going to try to help you get past this stuff. So the more you can integrate and work on it, the less you're going to have to deal with it environmentally with people around you. We have a success card in the crowning position, which is great. And this is the 10 of Pentacles here. We see the person using crystals here, or this is probably some sort of a fairy. But anyway, what we see here is, or some sort of an earth energy here. But with this, with the 10 of Pentacles, what I think you want to focus on with this is opening up, because I see this as being an almost like focusing too much on material as I'm looking at that sort of mythical creature holding all of that together. To me, that almost reminds me a little bit of the 4 of Pentacles. And so when we look at like wealth management or abundance, if you see it as the river that's flowing, there's no need to sort of worry about, this is it, I better save it all because no more is coming. That is actually a way to cut the source of the flow of energy. So it's important to save, of course, but don't only look at the numbers or the bottom line. Continue to have multiple revenue sources, multiple tributaries that are flowing into your life, multiple sources of inspiration that bring you joy and happiness. Keep those sort of juices, those creative juices flowing. And it's not just about the bank account. It's not just about the title. It's not just about what people think. It's about how you feel and what you're doing to continue that positive flow of energy around you. Okay. But guess what? 10 of Pentacles is an awesome card to have in the crowning position. That means success, stability. For some of you, the fact that I've got 2 of Cups, the Lovers, and the 10 of Pentacles, it could mean a long-term relationship as well, because this is a commitment card. Not as illustrated, but as traditionally interpreted in the Rider-Waite-Smith sort of cards. So I would say you've got that stability, you've got what you need, so don't worry about trying to prove it. Just kind of own it and be yourself. That's what's attracting people to you anyway. And then we have the Lovers here. This is fantastic because it shows it's not just about love. Yes, we have 2 here, but we also sort of see all of the things that you can be pulling in, and we have like the Tree of Life here in the background too. So I always mention that Lovers can mean just that you're going to be a lot more successful at resolving conflict, having more abundance with wealth and opportunities, resolving any sort of issues that you've had with people in the past, conflict negotiation. This is a good time to go back and say, I'm sorry, or we need to talk about this. Or if you're trying to get a raise or something like that, this is a good time for that. Trying to find a job, because I know a lot of us have been out of work because of the pandemic. So this is a great time to put your best foot forward and to pull people into your energetic sphere. Okay, so great card to come through for you. The interesting thing that I was picking up on, I'm now remembering what I was saying when I put the cards out. So in my meditation and in my dreams last night, it kind of came to me, and I had so many cards on the table. This kind of didn't make the cut, but it's important because it came through in the cards. So I saw somebody searching for someone, but the soul had moved into a new body. Clearly that indicates reincarnation. And there were 2 things. One was to put yourself in someone else's shoes. But the bigger thing was that I saw a soul recognition from one person to another, and they looked different. And I even saw like it was a different gender than the person was in another lifetime. So if you find yourself drawn to someone and they're not your type, or maybe not even your gender, but you feel this kind of amazing love towards them, or they are your gender, whatever, something's off with that. That's okay. It's natural, and it's because of the past life connection. So I got that it would be a flip to what your normal type would be. So honor that, and don't limit yourself. I think we're so limited on this planet by who you can love and how you can express your love. Don't be limited. All right. We have the Sorceress card in here, which is really the High Priestess. She's reversed, but anytime the High Priestess is reversed, it's a reminder to listen to your intuition. You have solid intuition because the card itself is positive. But when it's reversed, a lot of times you're going against the flow. And when we're talking about a river or energetic flow, it's kind of like you're going upstream. So I want you to kind of think about, why are you resisting something that you kind of know you need to do? And I think that sometimes it can be because of what's expected of you. The 10 of Pentacles, I would rarely read it this way, but it can also be peer pressure in the same way that 6 of Wands can be. Because you see, even the Lovers, there could be a lot of people around you that are kind of like almost smothering you with all of this energy and all of this direction. And you're the source. You're going to be kind of mixing your own magic brew of what it is you're supposed to be creating in this world. So this is even kind of like Empress energy too. Like, own what you see, own what you want to do, and trust in that. I think that's the most important thing here. Try to shy away from a desire to fix people that don't want to be fixed, or to navigate or support systems that are broken and also don't want to be fixed. Because High Priestess energy, Emperor or Empress energy, Queen or King of Wands energy, when reversed, can sometimes be putting too much into something that doesn't want or need that energy just yet. Put that special brew of energy right into your own sort of space and create something beautiful instead. definitely the divine feminine is coming through. I've got I've got Shaka Khan's song in my head, I'm every woman. So you're every person is what I would say. We're going to broaden that. I've said that before, but you have the energy to put that. She even has that line in there, put the fire inside of you. So I think that's important. All right. 3 of Pentacles here, also reversed, really positive card though. 3 of Pentacles is about growth, development, recognition. For some of you, it's about stepping out into the limelight. So we have both of these power cards reversed. And I think what it's really saying is now is your time to show what you can do. And I mentioned that with the House of Cards metaphor before. So let go and step out and own your path. For some of you, this is a mastery sort of message here because we have the 8 of Pentacles and then the 3 of Pentacles. This is apprentice, this is master, this is studying, this is graduation. This is like primary education, this is, secondary, or this could be like college and this can be grad school. Whatever you're doing, next level, next step, level up, +1. You're doing a good job. So I want you to keep doing that and focus on you. A lot of the power cards were reversed, but not all of them. So it's just important for you to keep an eye on your path and don't worry so much about others. All right, you're going to be busy. January has 8 of Wands energy here. The interesting thing with this is it almost looks to me like it's kind of like, what do you call it? Like a shooting star, meteor shower or whatever. So you might also be bombarded with creative ideas because that's kind of what this is striking me as instead of the typical 8 of Wands, which is just like I'm juggling a lot of things. I can do it, but I'm busy. So I feel like some of you, the reason that I was getting the mental download that you need to meditate is because if you don't find a way to kind of do what I did, get this stuff on paper or talk to somebody, it's going to just ricochet around there and you won't be able to focus. I see that you can do it, but you are going to need the discipline and you're going to need to maybe even delegate a little bit. Usually I get that more with the 7 of Wands, but with this, because of what's going on with all the sort of mental capacity that you're going to have to harness this month, I think it's good to lean on others and rely on some assistance this month as well. Okay, we have the Knight of Cups here, the Dreamer card. I like that there's a little subtext to this one here. So let me pull the card up. It's reversed, but we see someone here that's almost like feels like they're riding a magic carpet or something. I don't want you to limit yourself. I think that's one of the key messages here. We even see the moon behind him. So a lot of your energy could be coming through nocturnal sources. So you could be in your dreams starting to receive messages, intuition, ideas. The clearer you are, the better that you're going to be able to receive that. And if you find that you're having a hard time sleeping or that you're constantly working in your sleep, meditation will fix that. If you meditate 20 minutes a day or 10 minutes a day, or right before you go to sleep, then you're going to have a restful experience because just like it takes me 1 hour, by the way, to do all of this stuff beforehand. So I have to allow a minimum of an hour or I'm going to be in trouble. It usually takes me an hour and a half, but I can do it in an hour. 2 hours is perfect. But I have to sit here and because I write and rewrite some of them until I get the right sort of flow. But when I do that, I'm free then. I won't have to see those dreams again. I won't have to get those messages again. So if you're receiving stuff, you need to process it, acknowledge it, and figure out what it means to you. And so I feel like the dreaming, the downloading, the perceiving part of this is what's important. The receiving part of it is what's important. So be receptive and then somehow analyze that. And then you're going to find peace and inspiration in other parts of your life, right? So let's move along now to the expanded forecast, and then we'll periodically move back to the center spread to get additional insights. As I look at health, I'm using a plant deck this month because I've been drawn more to nature totems, as you've probably seen, like even in the channeled messages, there's a lot of nature energy coming through for some reason recently. So we have heliotrope, interesting name. It says, devotion and dreams fulfilled. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams, which is exactly what we were just talking about right here with the Dreamer card, right? So this message really is about paying attention to what you're receiving in dreams. And also, like back when you were a little kid, what was it that you felt compelled to do? What was your dream? And by the way, we never stop growing up. So we should continue to ask ourselves, what do I want to do next? Not when I grow up. What do I want to do next? What do I want to continue to evolve and grow into? How can I do that? So this beautiful plant, which I've never heard of, but I'm going to Google later, is basically talking about that. Okay. Very cool. Okay. Other messages with health. It's actually a pretty good month for health as I look at all of this. The one thing that I see is that there's a couple of mirrors cards or cups cards that were reversed, the 5 of Cups and the Knight of Cups. So when you look at your general emotional state, are you feeling tapped out a little bit, like you're spending a lot of time and energy holding other people up? We talked about that in the channeled messages, so you know how to kind of let go. I think that could be part of it for some of you. And just all the work that's going on between the 8 of Pentacles and the 3 of Pentacles, or all the focus maybe on money and keeping all that together, because I could see this sort of grabbing energy with the 10 of Pentacles. Just make sure that you're giving yourself a little bit of time and space to breathe, to dream, and I think you're going to be okay. Generally speaking, the health energy is good, and I'm not seeing a lot that you have to worry about right now. So we're going to focus more on the spiritual side of it, which is to make sure that you're feeling joy and that you are connecting to what you want to do, what your dreams are, what your hopes are. And this is more about pulling the heart space energy that we saw. Where was that? In the crown chakra deck here, or those looking at. But basically, yeah, pulling that energy. Here it is, the 5 of Cups. Pulling the energy from passion to creation and kind of like realizing that you can be both like productive and happy at the same time. All right, let's look at wealth. We got 2. The first one that came through was whatever you're going through in work, school, or whatever your sort of current focus is outside of relationships. It's there to teach you. It always is. This is a hermit, a very different hermit energy because he's got the lantern. Can you see that? Or she's got the lantern. But I feel like this is somewhere between the hermit and the star. The hermit carries the star in the lantern and it gives way to the star. But the star wasn't quite ready to shine. So what I feel like you're learning in your wealth right now, so like school, career, or self-confidence is, I am the source. This is the hermit emerging and becoming the star. And so you're being asked to show yourself, show your true colors. It's beautiful, beautiful symbology here. In my book, I talk about, I have a couple of stars. I have a lot of stars. They're all stars. But one of them is Rigel, which is like the star that's like one of the super massive stars. But it's in my book, it's at the point where it would have gone supernova. So it's kind of shrouded in a nebula. And it kind of is like this. It's trying to figure out, what am I next? Is it going to give way to a bunch of baby stars, which it probably would in real life? But it's kind of in that transforming stage. So some of you are transforming. And 2020 has been amazingly transformative. So you're like Rigel, or you're like this hermit becoming a star and evolving into the next phase and shining brightly and doing something else. So anyway, I think that if you can look at what you're going through not as failure, not as a block, not as something that you can't get past, but rather as something that's going to help you as a gateway to get to the next thing. It's also like death and rebirth. So you're just going through a portal with your career right now. Raise your frequency. We again have people moving. Are you seeing a trend here? Heart space, crown chakra. Heart space, crown chakra. Very different decks, very same energy. So this will bring success, happiness, and growth. You have to connect to the heart. And now we see that power is kind of going everywhere. There's also, I mean, this one's more than just the heart. We can also see that around the solar plexus too. But there's a definite connection between your fire, that fire inside of you, like I was talking about with the Shaka Khan song, and now it's going to emanate out. But this person is in the star form too, because they're opening up. They're not hiding anymore. So yeah, it's your time to really go after what you want and go for it, even if that means stepping away from something and being in that weird, awkward state that in my book, Rigel was in, and in our lives, a lot of us are feeling like we're in 2020. but this is 2021 that I'm reading for. So it's a new game, like Katniss. Take your arrow and push it up towards the, what was it, the dome that she was playing in, and let it kind of collapse. This is your chance to really reboot the system, okay? I like the wealth cards that I got. They're all positive. 8 of Pentacles, 10 of Pentacles, 3 of Pentacles, nary a bad card there. So if it's been bad in 2020 for you, I feel like it's a game changer and a shift, and new opportunities are coming through next year. Now, education is a kind of deep part of the 8 and 3 of Pentacles. So maybe some of you are deciding to go back to something that you studied, but you got kind of on a different path, or you're going to go back and add to that, or you're going to somehow repackage everything and evolve and emerge into something new. No wrong way to do it, but you've got what it takes, okay? Really great cards, really great images, really great messages. Nothing negative with any of these. It's just some choices. You have to figure out what you want. All right, let's move along to love. Don't hate, meditate. Thank your angels for guiding me through love and guiding me to love through meditation. Okay, so basically, again, all about the heart, all about the solar plexus, a lot of energy moving from that space this month. If you're feeling that sense of I'm out of control, or I'm angry with myself, or I'm angry with someone else, obviously meditation will help. This card was reversed, just like the power card that we saw with the High Priestess. So I want you to focus on knowing that you're going to create that calm within you. Someone else can't do it for you. And sometimes we try to medicate ourselves with the food or the drink or whatever that we're putting in. And this is really saying, no, I can just pull that calm from within myself. In relationships, it's not about others. It's about you and what you're doing to call them in. So some of you might be calling in a soulmate. And guess what? It's working because we have the Lovers card here and we have the 2 of Cups card. I normally don't focus on relationships just for the sake of that, but they're coming through, so let's focus on it. So what I mentioned in respect to relationships is I saw love coming in, but it was unexpected in nature. Maybe the timing is not ideal, and maybe the package isn't what you thought it would be, the kind of person or the kind of path that they're walking or whatever it is. There was something unusual and also okay about it, because at that point, I saw that you recognized them. They didn't get it. They didn't recognize you just yet. So with an early soul recognition, which happens sometimes, I think that it's important for you to have patience and not expect them to feel everything that you're feeling immediately as well. So just take your time with these relationships that could be coming through. With old relationships, it was the other piece that came through, which was to really empathize, sympathize, understand, put yourself in their shoes, because there was another part of this where it was almost like you were in that body, trying to understand who they were. So I think that that's going to be key to existing relationships. For love, for those of you that are not looking for love, it might come anyway. I mention that sometimes when we get this many positive cards, 2 of Cups, Lovers, and then also the Knight of Cups here. So the thing with the Knight of Cups is don't be too hasty, and let the other person also kind of like show you how they feel. Sometimes you can wear your heart on your sleeve, right? So this one is about kind of like letting there be a back and forth, and letting both sides kind of show what they need to. There is an unexpected nature, not as much so with like 4 of Cups, but with 5 of Cups, sometimes you're distracted. 4 and 5, you can miss something because you're focusing elsewhere. So that's why I want you to be aware and to be open, because there might be something more, something that you need to pay attention to. But I also see an overlap between like work and school and love, because we have the 8 of Pentacles, the 3 of Pentacles, and all this love energy as well. So either you're working your passion, or you might find someone that you really like, and that's a new friend or a new love interest. Okay. Very interesting that we see Belladonna. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe that that's toxic. So what I see with this is everything is not what it seems. And sometimes something that looks good isn't, and sometimes something that doesn't look good is. So go beneath the surface, and don't throw yourself head in, and don't sort of overcommit before you know what you're dealing with. So it's a beautiful illustration. But yes, be careful, I think, is what I'm seeing with this. And it's really just about not taking things at a face value. You have really keen insights and really keen intuition. Your third eye is going to show you what you need to see, or your intuition, your gut, you'll just feel it in your body if this is a good thing or a not so good thing. And then use that to get the research, the information, and the additional sort of direction that you need. But that's what I see as an avoidable. This almost reminds me of like the devil reversed, to be honest with you. I think that sometimes the devil card is not accurately drawn. It shouldn't be super scary. It should kind of be something like Belladonna or Nightshade or something like that, where it could be pretty, but it can also be toxic. And so there's something in your life, speaking of toxicity, because we were talking about sort of like removing that. Just get rid of those toxins, whether it's a person or something that you thought was good but wasn't. This could just be releasing a contract as well, right? So anyway, if it were the devil card, transparency would be something that you'd want to focus on. Making sure that the person can commit to you. If there's another person in your life, making sure that the contract is mutually agreeable. Really, there's always a sort of a hidden detail. So you just want to do your research. I'm not really scared when I see cards like that. It's just saying, okay, I'm going to take a half step and I'm not going to sign immediately. I'm going to ask questions. And that's something that I love to do. It's kind of like get some more information. That's all. Okay. Everything else is really positive. And that is in the distant future. So most of the energy is moving in the right direction. Sometimes when you're on that right path, this is one last thing that I want to talk about, and then we'll do the review and then we'll go to the next part. But sometimes when we're doing really well, the universe will try to test you. And sometimes it's shadow energy that tries to block you. And all you have to do is stay strong and don't get triggered by the shadow energy. That's all. Okay, let's go ahead and review what we talked about earlier. For those of you that joined late, this is a mini review. You can always rewind and watch the channeled messages earlier. But I saw a mental sort of flash of the source of a river, which I guess is also called the headwater. And as I showed you at the beginning, like the tributaries that have all those little, they almost look like arteries or veins when you take a look at them. Right? All these little veins going into it. Sometimes we focus too much on that main source, not the source, the main artery. But what's more important is where is it coming from and what is feeding it? Because a lot of your messages this month were about managing those flows of energy. Everything that is big was once small or might be constituted of smaller parts. So realize that you're a part of something bigger. Don't feel daunted by a mountain or a path that seems like it's overwhelming, because a lot of times that's where the source comes from. It's from glacial melts or from a caldera or from a lake that's at the top of a river. So that mountain could reveal the source. That work that you have to go through, as we saw here with Ganesha, actually, that's going to reveal the joy and the happiness that you've been looking for. There we go. And it can also inspire growth. If you feel drowned or pulled by a larger energetic source or energetic kind of like that artery that we were looking at, it's time to reclaim it. Stop feeding it, because you could be the source of some of that overwhelming energy yourself. So stop supporting systems that don't support you. You are the source. Go back to you. Go back to what you're doing. And then also when you're trying to make things happen, make sure you're going to the decision maker. If they can't make the decision, it's the wrong person. Avoid the middleman. Instead, you want to be the messenger, the creator, and the agent of change. You always are, but you want to especially do that this month. Reclaim your myriad energetic tributaries or cords and direct them towards your goals. So decord, you can do that in your meditation, cutting cords, and really just focus on you. We got so much here with like solar plexus, heart, crown. That's really where that energy needs to be, right? Okay, so we have an entrepreneurial sort of overall arching message here, which is take charge. And it doesn't have to be divine, masculine, or feminine. It's a little bit of both. You're going to be creating and destroying at the same time. If you're working with a person or a group that built itself on a house of cards, it's time to let it go. Reevaluate why you were there. What is the cost? How much are you investing in that? And if you were to let it fall, you might be surprised at how positive the outcome would be. You might actually be the one that's revealed as being the strong person or the one that held up that house of cards. And then if you've been doing that lion's share, of work, then you might get the recognition or the assistance that you already really deserve. This is your time to shine, as we saw here with our friend the Hermit becoming the star. And like Katniss in the Hunger Games, it's time to change the system. And you have the chance to sort of say, I'm not going to play this game anymore. You're going to like reboot it, change the rule book. And there doesn't have to be winners or losers. Both of you can win, or all of you can win. Energy that's stuck needs to move, as we've been looking at here. There's a big sort of flow that wants to come through you. So make way for this. Don't let this pass you by. Cleanse your diet, but also more importantly, cleanse your mental space as well, so that you can receive all of the downloads, which we saw here in the 8 of Spirals. Okay. Looking at the cards here, have fun. It's important. Not only is it fun and does it feel good, but it helps you get through that mountain that we see in the back. It's not always like the Himalayas. Maybe it's a little smaller than it feels like. And doing it with someone that you love can be a lot more fun too. And definitely the energy of partnership is unavoidable this month with the 2 of Cups, the Lovers, and the Knight of Cups. So it just feels like you're going to work better with somebody, or you're going to be happier with somebody this month. So it is a time to really reconnect. There's an overlap between business and happiness, play, or love. So that seems natural. If it could just mean that you're going to really love who you're working with and what you're doing, and that's perfect. Try to do that. You're going to be more productive. You're going to go from 8 of Pentacles to 3, learning to mastering. So I love that. Star, it's time to reveal yourself. We talked about that in several different cards, but I'll review it again here in just a second. One of the most important things is to pull that balance between heart and crown, and even solar plexus and crown. There's a lot to be valued and loved there. You have to love yourself, though, so that the mirrors that you're pulling into your life reflect that higher frequency. Success is your crowning card. Don't let the success weigh you down. Don't let the focus on sort of tangible pieces of that, whether that's an award, a sort of rating, or whatever it is. These things don't matter so much as what you're gaining from the experience. Also, don't let friends, family, and society pressure you into doing or being something that you're not. Shine your own unique light in your own unique way. Lover's energy is coming through in the near future, connecting to the Knight of Cups. Again, 2 of Cups, Lovers, Knight of Cups. I feel like it's a great time to fall in love, to deepen a love relationship, and also to fix a relationship. We literally have cards showing that the work will pay off. Rarely do I see that, but like it's really showing up here. So if you love someone or something and you want to try to fix that relationship, you definitely have all the required pieces to do so. You decide if it makes sense, because we were also talking about a house of cards. So you should be feeling like they're also working just as hard as you. I guess that would be my litmus test here. Trust your intuition. Listen to the downloads that are coming through. Clearing your head will allow you to better make use of that. Write it down. 8 of Pentacles and 3 of Pentacles. Really good for those of you that are painters, writers, engineers, inventors, musicians. Whatever you put to paper, basically. And those are all different ways you can channel stuff, whether it's a musical score or a blueprint for some sort of a patent that you're going to get. There's so many ways that you could take something and write it down. I really feel like it's important to journal, to create, to use your hands or your fingers and type this stuff out. There's some good downloads coming through. And when I entered here in the meditation this morning, I didn't have as much as I normally would, but it all came through like that river. So I feel like your sign is very receptive. So allow it to come through. 8 of Spirals, things will happen faster than you think. Delegate, do some teamwork. Teamwork is so important with the 2 of Cups and the Lovers. Also 10 of Pentacles. Again, this is such a weird illustration, but normally you would see friends and family and coworkers in that too. So all of these are really people cards. 2 of Cups, 10 of Pentacles, and the Lovers. It's just a really wacky illustration. Even the 3 of Pentacles is showing people looking to you now for leadership as well. So people, it's all around you. And I feel like even if we're doing remote stuff, or maybe you're gently re-entering into the workforce, you're going to be asked to be the glue. Okay, so there's a great opportunity for you to step up if that's something you're interested in. Just maintain a healthy, happy space in your mind, body, and spirit, because this Cups card needed a little bit of balance. All right. Follow your dreams. This is the dreamer. We have devotion and dreams fulfilled. You can do it if you keep putting energy into it. I had a late reading with somebody the other day, and they were just getting overwhelmed, I could tell, by the work that was required to make something happen. And it really wasn't that much, but I could actually hear like a vocal shift. They went lower, and I had to kind of try to bring them back up and say, it's not that bad. Everything worth doing requires some effort. If it were easy, you wouldn't be growing. But be like Ganesha here and try to like whistle while you work and have a good time and move through that mountain and have some fun. Okay. This is the revelation. This is you becoming the star, and it can happen slowly or it can happen quickly, but you are supposed to kind of step into your power and do something different. Notice too, how we see this person spreading their wings, which is beautiful. Okay. Don't focus so much on the lower frequencies. Meditate. This is going to help with sleep. This is going to help with conflict negotiation, or resolution rather. And I think the other thing here is that you really should be focusing on what you're trying to pull into your life, because you are manifesting like you haven't in a long time with the High Priestess here and this meditation card. And I can see love and abundance coming in. So if you're ready, it's ready. Belladonna is just you being your own worst enemy sometimes, or sometimes looking at something that looks like it's better or worse than it is and thinking like, that's all it can be. This is, kind of going into that headspace. So just don't let that happen and you'll be okay. All right. I'm going to take a quick drink here, and then we're going to expand into the soul space a little bit. I really want to look at the star energy first and see what it is that's sort of the soul calling. Then I'm going to look at the soulmate, then we'll do a wild card. Okay, let's look at the star, the hermit becoming the star. This soul part of you that really wants to express itself. What's the message? Ah, good. Okay, so we have Gaia here, the Empress, and that actually was sort of my inspiration when I was seeing the river energy earlier today, because Mother Earth has this sort of, it's like all the energies, and we call it Mother Earth, but it also has divine masculine energy in it as well. So you are the source, you are the creator, you are supposed to be creating. So have you stopped creating? Have you only been helping others? Have you only been nurturing others? Because just as the Empress can give birth to something, can deliver something, it feels like part of your soul journey is to leave something behind. So the sort of writing prompt that I would give you for your journal this month is, what is my legacy? What do I want to leave behind? How do I want to be remembered? And if I were to evaluate myself as teacher, as judge and jury, if I looked at my life, would I think that I made a difference? And if not, how can I make a difference now? It's never too late. This is a message that I was echoing at the end of the readings last month. So if you're very, very young, awesome. You have your whole life to make things wonderful. If you're mid-career or later career, it doesn't matter. If you're retired, it doesn't matter. You still have time. If you're watching this reading, you have time to make a change in your life. So do something that matters and leave something good behind you. It could be planting a tree. It could be writing a book. It could be making an album of music. It could be having a child. But there's some sort of a legacy that you want to leave behind, and your soul needs to feel that sense of investment from you. So you're supposed to do something, and you're supposed to leave it here for the world to be better. And I was talking to I do readings, by the way. This is why I don't read on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. I see clients. So I was talking to someone else, and this was more about kind of like I was helping them understand how to come up with their soul path. But I feel like it's important for us to think about leaving the world better than it was when we started. And even when we have conversations, you want to try to hope that you've left that person in a better state than when you found them. Otherwise, why are you talking to them? And otherwise, why are we living on this planet if we're not trying to improve it? If we're just using it up, I've got news for you. We're all coming back. So you're going to get your leftovers next time. So you better recycle. You better treat people right. You better take care of this planet, because we keep coming back here. When we start to see that cycle doesn't end and we see these people again, you have to start having better exchanges, because otherwise you get, like thorns. It's like a thorny bush next time when that person comes into your life next lifetime. So leave everything better than you started. and think about on a planetary and on a daily goal on how everything can be better. Doesn't matter what yesterday was, today will be better than yesterday. Our exchange will be better this time than it was last time. And if you aren't receptive to that, I'm going to stop investing in it, because it's also not leaving me better than when I started this. So it works both ways. If someone's constantly bringing you down, they're not trying to better the situation. So it's okay to walk away from it. You don't have to fix everyone. Okay. All right. I got distracted. Let's take a look now at the soulmate energy that's coming through, the lovers. What's the message about love this month? Even deeper than the love message that we already saw. Okay, so it's contracts and rewriting a contract, because the card is reversed. We have the Ace of Swords, literally a contract. We see the keys here. We see a crow there, showing death and rebirth and showing messages from beyond, but the contract is reversed, which means, just like I was talking about with the Hunger Games, you can rip it up, you can rewrite it, you can reboot the system. Or like the Matrix movies, that was the whole idea of that too. They were going to go reboot the Matrix, basically. So you're rewriting your code, you're rewriting your contract, and just because you said it or signed it doesn't mean that it's forever, ever. When you decide on a soul level, I've learned my lesson, you can release a contract, because you are the creator too, and you can decide this is null and void. So that's what it is this time. So what I saw was a lover, but they might be coming through as a best friend, or they may be coming through as a brother or a sister. Because what felt weird was it was like you felt a little bit more than you normally would towards someone, but it didn't feel like it was a traditional love relationship. So you could decide to explore that again in a different context. You could decide to just try friendship, because that also presented itself. The most important thing that you could do is to go back, though, and think to yourself, what did we do before? How did it feel before? What went right or wrong before? And how can I make it a little bit better this time? Looking just at this card with the two keys, it's control and access and power. And you both have equal footing. So I think it's also with the Empress card there. So I think the most important thing is that you both are holding those skeleton keys, and you can both hold control in the relationship. It's not sort of the tug of war. It's not win-lose. That was why I probably came up with that channeled message earlier. So if that person tries to put you in a win-lose situation, they're not ready yet to reconnect. Or maybe you choose to teach them that you can both win this lifetime. All right, now the wild card, whatever else you need to know to be successful, maybe to overcome anything that we saw with the Belladonna card. Okay, 10 of Wands. This is moving on. Are you ready to move on? And what's next? This is usually showing that you're at the end of a cycle or a journey. It's a very good card, generally speaking. This one, because we see a centaur here, I don't feel like he's feeling the burden of the journey. It's sort of more the fact that, oh my God, I'm almost free. This is good. So it's kind of like when you've decided to quit and it's maybe your second to last day or third to last day, nothing bothers you. If you can know where you're headed, then suddenly it's easier to bear to carry that load, or bear the burden is what I was going to say. So I think understanding what's next is going to be important. So set some goals, figure it out. And I do feel like over the course of 2021, some of you might be embarking upon or stepping into a new soul path, a new journey, because the Three of Pentacles is also graduation, right? So some of you are ready or getting ready to do that. And it's a good thing. I guess the one thing that I would say for you is, are you ready to be seen? Are you ready to show who you are? Whenever we have a revelation moment, whether it's like a press release, an announcement, a coming out, it should always be an expression of soul, joy, and integration. So because I love you, because this is exciting, because this is good news, I want to share this with you. If we can kind of relay that kind of information to somebody, then they're really excited to hear it. If we kind of tentatively look down like this and talk like this, nobody's going to be buying what you're selling. So you have to really, you have to believe and you have to connect with them on that heart level. Heart is so important this month. So as we're going to meditate in just a second here, and I may pull a card afterwards just to see if there's any final notes. But before we meditate, I really want to focus on opening this space up. And I kind of want to help us go through the journey of the I think I'll take us through the lantern. I don't think I've ever done kind of that. So we're gonna really live this card, which is taking off the cape and seeing the light within, and then kind of like melting the energy of the lantern into us, becoming the star. So we'll become the star here in the meditation. Before I do that, if you haven't hit like and subscribe, please do it. I don't ask that often, but it really does make a difference. Also, my videos don't necessarily get shown as much on the main page because I'm not focusing solely on soul relationships. So share it on your social media networks and comment, like, share, subscribe. I do need that to show engagement because I just don't grow at the same speed as other channels right now. So if you like what you see and you want to see more of it, that'll help a lot. Okay. Let me go ahead now and go into the meditation. Also, before I do that, because first of all, you guys should stick around and meditate because it was in the cards. But if you leave, I see some of you have already left. That's your loss. But before we meditate, since some of you step away from the meditation, I want to remind you that I'm going to be doing a special reading on New Year's Eve. Same time, 9 in the morning, my time, and so 9 Pacific. And I will be helping with a couple of things. I think one of the things that I want to do is open up the portal for the new year. We've already done some of that here, really to bring in love and abundance in all forms. So I will be including love, but I'm not focusing on love. I'll also be looking at career, and I'll be seeing if there's some high-level notes for what we can focus on. So I think it's going to be like abundance in all forms. So health, wealth, love, all those things. But it'll be a collective one, and I'm starting to do some of these collective readings, which I think you guys have been enjoying. All right. Close your eyes, relax, and we're going to basically do an evening meditation. And I'll hold this up for a second if you want to imagine that you are the hermit. So imagine that you are in a sort of sacred grove at nighttime. So you're in the forest, there's a clearing, there's trees around you. And as you survey everything around you, you can see these beautiful little fireflies. Just imagine that it's summer or that you're in the southern hemisphere, and see the fireflies lighting up the forest. And imagine that you've carried this lantern just like the hermit has here. And as you hold the lantern up, you realize that just like the fireflies, it's kind of ebbing and flowing with light, but it's connected energetically to your heart space. So as you breathe, you see the light start to get brighter. As you exhale and let go, you see it dim a little bit. I want you to now start to imagine that you're calling that into your heart. So the star that's in the lantern, you put the lantern down, but now you're holding the star in your hands. And I want you to just kind of hold this against your heart space. And we're going to breathe for a second as you let the star basically become a part of you. As you place it in the heart space, just feel a warmth go through your body. You don't have to see anything. So often people will say, I don't see things. Don't see things, feel things. Feel that you have this warmth coming through your body as if you put like a beautiful blanket on, and you can just, or if you're drinking like warm apple cider, and as it goes into your throat and into your belly, you can feel that warmth kind of start to spread through your body. But this is going through your heart. So it's spreading through your body, through the blood, this beautiful warm sensation. And it's almost like if you felt like you were asleep, you're finally feeling alive, feeling warm, feeling loved. And it is like this warm blanket. But the interesting thing is now you feel this desire to take the cape off that you've been wearing here in the forest, because the light wants to come through. And you feel like you can't hold back any longer, that it's time to just allow yourself to be, to show your light, to show your colors. So as I play the singing bowl here in a moment, I want you to pick a star in the sky, the brightest one that you can see. I want you to see your light as well. And I want you to imagine that you're going to shine just as brightly as that star. And maybe if you'd like to, you can take a moment and ride up in your own sort of beam of energy and look at your life, look at the planet, look at things, and figure out where you are, where you're headed, and what you want. And then come back down into your body, bringing that star energy. Okay. So just enjoy and see. If you can't see anything, just feel warm. Imagine that you're on a sunny day at the beach and you feel light all around you. That's all you have to do. See light, feel light. We can all do that. All right, close your eyes and allow the light to move through you. Take a deep breath. Imagine that as you perhaps are out of your body for a moment, you can spread your wings, you can allow your rays of light to shine. We were talking earlier about leaving this place a better place than where we started. Shine some rays of light and beam them towards this planet. We certainly need it right now. And if everybody here that's meditating and everyone that meditates on replay does this, we're going to have a lot of positive energy and healing that's kind of happening. You can send it towards the center of the planet. You can send it towards loved ones. You can generally sort of blanket the planet and just ask that everybody feels that love and support, and a reminder that we're all in this together. So as you take that deep breath and feel that love, also feel it come back from everybody that is meditating and praying, because you're going to give what you receive and receive what you give, vice versa. So just allow it now to come through, and gently see yourself floating back towards your body, either through that beam of light or like a feather entering through the crown chakra. And I want you to bring the knowledge and the insight and the perspective that you had as the star and luminous sort of energy that you were now back into your earth body. Let's really observe the fire and heat that you have that we saw here in this hermit card. Bring your hands together. Warm it up a little bit, put your left hand on your heart, right hand on top of that, and just make a promise to yourself that whatever you want to create, whatever you want to do, you're not going to be afraid to go after that, remembering that you are the source, that you are the creator, that you are accountable. And as you really move into that energy, there's this feeling of peace. And rather than feeling overwhelmed, there's this sort of excitement and joy that something amazing can happen. So take a deep breath, and on the exhale, you can open your eyes. Welcome back. And we'll just chat a little bit here before I wrap up. I'm going to do one extra card because I said I would, and I'll see if there's a final message for you. We have the Queen of Swords here, but it's actually called the Weaver, which I like. So you create your own journey. You always have, and you always will. And that's what we see with this. But it is really important to take some time to put your thoughts to paper, because it's kind of like I had a book within my book when I talked about my novel there. The power, the weapon in my story was actually a book. So because there's power when we take our thoughts and ideas and record them. So just realize that you can do that in your own life. And when you take this and write it or speak it, that's when that's why magic works. That's why there were spells. It's a series of words, right? So just use your words wisely and definitely record some of those ideas. Some of you might have some great inspiration from that. I just want to remind you again, I used 4 new decks today. So if you like what you see, maybe on replay, you can use the applaud button, by the way, if you're looking at it on a PC, Mac, or an Android. It doesn't work on iPhones yet. or iPads, but anywhere else you can use the applaud. If you're watching this live right now, you can use Super Chat. And so the plant deck and the two sort of angel decks here, all of these are new. And also the one that had some of the plants and other things, all of these were due. So I got 4 new decks, all with your help. So those of you, thank you so much that are contributing. I appreciate it. I see a lot of you are regulars. So all of the people that have joined and become channel members or Patreon supporters, thank you. You don't have to do anything else. I appreciate that. Let's talk about how you can connect with me if you'd like to. All of the information that I'm going to go through is on my website. So my website is nicholasashbaugh.com. Right now at the top of my website, you'll see an option to buy my book. So if you like science fiction, fantasy, this is something that you might want to check out. You can get some more information about what the book is about and where to buy it if you go to my website. First link right there. It's also on Amazon. You can just search for my last name. It's at Barnes & Noble, it's at Walmart, and it's on a lot of other places globally. So take a look. If you'd like to follow me on social media, my username is just my name, nothing before, nothing after. On Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, I use stories to remind you. I actually put links in on Facebook and Instagram. I also use fleets on Twitter to remind you of upcoming appointments. So it's a great way to figure out, hey, what's he doing today? Who's he reading? And I'm also on Goodreads. So if you want to, again, learn more about the book, you can go there. Patreon is a great way to support me. TikTok, I'm going to start to do more in the future on that. I'm just trying to figure out how to do something in 1 minute because it's pretty short, but keep an eye on that. I'll do more in the new year. Twitter is the only one that has a different username. I don't have room for my first name, so it's just N Ashbaugh. And for those of you that are older school and like PayPal, it's paypal.me/Nicholas Ashbaugh. And again, one more time, you can go to my website. It's all there. And you can just click on my picture on any device here, and it'll go to the main profile page on YouTube, and you can click about, and all the links are there. Thank you so much today for showing up. Thank you for the contributions. Thanks for working on yourselves. And thanks for sticking through 2020. I have a feeling January looks like it's a good month. And energetically, I saw like 2021 as a healing year. 2022 is when I saw like a big sort of boom of energy. So I feel like we're kind of in that rebuilding phase after the tower next year. It's sort of like, how can we put down the firm foundation? So every month we'll show up here, we'll start to work on that and build a stronger and better foundation because that's what we have to do. That's what was given to us, and we can do it, right? Remember to have fun in the process, everyone. That's what this card is about. It's okay. There could be sort of joy in that rebuilding. Thanks to my moderators again, Ryan and Maria. Thanks to everybody for showing up. Much love and light. I know some of you are watching this live. So if you're watching it live, thank you. And if you're watching it in January, Happy New Year. Thank you so much. And we will, I'll be back, like I said, again on December 31st at 9 in the morning Pacific, and I'll try to break down some of the other times, but it's my same time as always. And we'll work on trying to celebrate the new year together a little bit. All right. Take care, everybody, and have a great day and a great end of the week. All right. Bye.